Hello and good morning. Let's take a look here. All right, so write this as an Egyptian. Well, let's think about this. What is 1,000 worth? Okay, so if I look, we can see from this table on page 294 that 1,000 is lotus. So we're going to have 2 times the lotus flower plus the scroll is 100, so it's 6 times the scroll, plus we have 4 times 10, and 10 is the heel bone, and then we have 4 ones, or we have 0, so I guess we would just leave it like that. Okay? All right, how would it be in Roman numerals? Well, let's go down here and figure this out. This is 1, or actually it should be I backwards. 5 is V, X. 50 is going to be L, C is 100, D, and M. Double check those to make sure. So if we're going to write it as Romans, okay, so we have 2,000, so that's going to be 2 M's. So that's going to be M, M, all right, 2 of those. Then we have 600s, so it's going to be C, 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 6 of those. And then we have 40, so that's going to be 4 of these 10s. And that should do it. Let's talk about today's work. Copy down everything you see here. All right, let's talk about place value. Well, what you need to know is 10 to the 0 power is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Put a star by that. 10 to the first power is 10. This one is 100, 2 zeros. This one is 1,000, 3 zeros, etc. All right, let's look at this one. Write it in an expanded form. So you have 4,000. So it's going to be 4 times 1,000, okay, plus 6 times 100, plus 7 times 10, plus 2 times 10 to the 0 power. Because 10 to the 0 power is 1. Okay? Now, you can write this, since you have 3 zeros, as 4 times 10 to the 3rd power. And then 6 times 10 to the 2nd power, because you have 2 zeros. 7 times 10 to the 1st, and 2 times 10 to the 0 power. Okay? That is called expanded form. Make sure you check your answers so you know what they want you to do. Let's keep moving. Copy down this problem right here. I'm going to show you a video on expanded form as well. All right, so copy that one down. Well, this is 1,000, right? Because it's a 1 with 3 zeros. So that's 2 times 1,000. So that's 2,000 plus 700 plus 60 plus 3. And when you add all that up, you're going to get 2,763. And that's how you simplify. It says use expanded form to find the sum. Well, here you're going to have 8. Copy that down, by the way. 8 times 10 to the 1st power plus 5 times 10 to the 0 power. This one is going to be 5 times 10 to the 1st power. And then 7 times 10 to the 0 power. So when you add this up using expanded form, you're just going to add up these numbers. So it's going to be 13 times 10 to the 1st power plus 12 times 10 to the 0 power. Okay? Now, when you think about this, this is actually going to carry 1 over because it's more than 10. So this is going to make this 14. and then this one is going to be 2 times 10 to the 0 power. And you want to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. All right? So when you subtract these, watch how you subtract it. So when you subtract, you can't subtract 7 from 5. So you're going to borrow here and make this a 7. You're going to add 10 to this, which is going to make this 15. So this is going to be 8 times 10 to the 0 power, and this is going to be 7 minus 5 is 2. That's how you do that. There it is. All right? Today's work is right here. Make sure you copy the problems and expand it out and check your answers. Let's turn our attention now to college algebra. All right, so for college algebra, I want you to solve this problem by factoring. If you're going to solve it by factoring, you got to get it equal to 0. So move this over here, and you're going to add x squared. So it's 2x squared. You're going to move this over, minus 3x plus 1. All right? Now, to multiply or factor this, what you're going to do is multiply the first and last and get 2. So what times what is 2? That's going to add to give you a 3. So it's got to be 1 and 2. So you're going to substitute these and place it at 3 right there. So it's going to be 2x squared, then it's going to be minus x minus 2x, and this is 1x, by the way, and then plus 1. Okay, again, you're substituting 1x and 2x in place of that 3x. Then you're going to factor out an x, so you're left with x and then 2x minus 1. You're going to factor out a negative here, and you're left with 2x minus 1. Now you have 2x minus 1 on both of these, so you're going to take out a 2x minus 1, and when you do, you're left with x minus 1. There it is, and that's how you factor it. And then you're going to set each factor equal to 0. Let me change that right there to a 1. So you're going to say 2x minus 1 equals 0, and x minus 1 equals 0, right? So this one is going to be 1/2. This one is going to be 1. And there it is. And that's how you do it. All right. Let's talk about domain and range. We're going into the next section. Copy this down right here. We're going to watch a video on domain. Domain is your x's. So all you do is put domain, -3, -1. Write down all your x's. Range is your y. So that would be 0 and -1. You don't have to write the 2 twice. Any questions on domain and range? Let's take a look here. On this one, the domain is all real numbers. You can put anything in here, but you can't have a 0 in a denominator. So if it's -5 here, you would get 0. So except -5. You can't have 0 in a denominator. Write that down. No 0 in denominator. Okay, let's go to this one. This one right here, anything works. There's no problems here, so this one is all real numbers. Copy this one down. This one, you can't have a negative inside of here because the square root of a negative is imaginary. So we're going to say 4 minus 3x has to be greater than or equal to 0. 0 is okay. You just can't have a negative. So when you solve this, you're going to get, you're going to move the 4 over here. So you're going to get -3x is greater than or equal to a -4. Then you're going to divide by a -3. Now you know the rule, right? When you divide by a negative, you got to change that sign. So x is less than or equal to 4/3. So less than would get you to -infinity. And then equal to 4/3 would be 4/3. So that's what you would have for your domain. Your domain, let me slide this up a little bit, would be anything to -infinity, and it's actually going this way, it's your x, and all the way to 4/3, which is 1 1/3, inclusive. So your domain would be anything going in the negative direction including that point. Okay, so let's do example 11 here. And this one is actually going to bring you to some calculus. So copy that down. What you're doing here is you're taking the function and you're substituting this, and then you're substituting x. So what you're going to do is expand this out to x plus h quantity squared minus 4 times x plus h, and then plus 7. And then minus all of this function here. So minus x squared minus 4x plus 7. Okay? And that probably should have been f of h. I'll have to check that in the book. So this should be h. Change these to h's, which is what we have here. And then all divided by h, like that. So what you would have to do, and I'm not going to go any further with this, but you'd have to use FOIL here. You'd have to distribute the negative 4. You'd have to distribute the negative here. You'd have to combine like terms, and then you're going to factor out an h, and the h is going to cancel here. I want you to try to finish that problem. Today's work is right here. Have a good morning. And by the way, this problem is in the book. Example 11.